Alrighty, hello, guys. Welcome back to the SDSU AMA podcast. I am your host, Aiden Takuchi, and I have joining me today my lovely co-host.
Hi, guys. It's Stephanie Iglesias. Good to have you back.
Thank you guys for tuning in last week. Today we have a very special guest, Miss Liann So of Jack in the Box, the MCC. Woo woo!
Yay! Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us.
Of course.
So we were lucky enough, or especially me, I was lucky enough to meet Miss Liann at one of our GBMs, and she came and talked to us and honestly, literally opened my third eye to the application process and all that stuff.
That's so
because
sweet.
it's you can really take such a creative approach from it. And I applied to a different job, and it just made me reevaluate everything. And you can think outside the box, and there's not really any strict rules when it comes to job applications and all that kind of stuff. So we have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have anything you want to add in, and I'll give it over to Steph.
Yeah, I think we'll start off by you telling us a little bit about yourself, your career path, how you arrived in this role.
Yeah, of course. So I'm 2 years post-grad, graduated from SDSU, this amazing, lovely place,
Wow.
in 2023. So it has been almost over 2 years of being in the whole girl boss corporate world. Honestly, life is so much better after college, in my opinion. The first 6 months post-grad, you don't think that. You're probably miserable. This
And
doesn't
stressed.
apply to everybody, but it applied to me. And then once you kind of get out of that funk, you kind of put yourself out there, make more friends, get back into your hobbies that you abandoned during college. It's your third eye opens. So I'm very much in that phase of life right now.
Awesome.
Plus more money.
I'm excited for that part.
Exactly.
Yeah, but career-wise, I started SDSU as an international business major. And the reason I chose that major was because I grew up in the military community. So I've also always had an international background. Grew up in Tokyo for 10 years.
Wow.
For some reason, I always thought I wanted to go into international business consulting. It's when you go on TikTok and you see the investment bankers, the consultants from McKinsey on TikTok. I don't know why, but when I was 17, 18, I was I want to do that. I never want to do that ever.
Yeah, no.
You kind of get a glimpse into what that life looks like. Works for some people, wouldn't work for me. But I kind of almost convinced myself I wanted to do something crazy like that, a more intense corporate world experience. So I came in as an international business major. I kept the major. I didn't switch to marketing, even though halfway through college I realized I need to go into marketing to feel the most fulfilled in my career. The only reason I stuck with the international business major was because it had less math than any Fowler business undergrad degree. But yeah, halfway through I started taking marketing classes because you had to choose a business function as one of your emphases in the international business major. And I absolutely loved it way more than any of the other classes. Accounting, finance, all of those were terrible for me. And it was just kind of realized if I'm sticking to business, I need to be in marketing. And then that's kind of how I started looking for marketing internships. During COVID, I was a freshman and I got super lucky.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It's March 18th, 2020. That was when I got kicked out. Everyone got kicked out of their dorm. It was so sad. But honestly, it good things came out of it too. In hindsight. But I was so lucky and I got a completely remote internship with a marketing agency in Osaka, Japan.
Oh, wow.
And I was here in San Diego.
What?
Yeah, but the agency basically helped businesses to bring their services to Japan if they weren't originally in Japan.
How did you find that?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was so long ago, I kind of forgot, but I'm pretty sure LinkedIn.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure I found it through LinkedIn, clicked on the link, and then applied through their website.
Wait, by any chance, do you speak Japanese?
I do.
Oh,
I
okay.
do.
Did
Did you have to do speak Japanese for the internship?
For the internship, no. It was it was a pretty small company.
Yeah.
Everyone was bilingual.
Oh,
So everyone
okay.
spoke Japanese and English.
Yeah.
A lot of the owner of the company and also the CEO, he was fully Japanese, but grew up in New Zealand. So everyone had accents. We weren't doing Zoom calls or anything. A lot of people were it was a lot of independent work, even as an intern. But I didn't have to speak Japanese, which was good because I still speak fluently, but when I moved to San Diego, I developed a California accent, and you can hear it when I speak in Japanese. It's like konnichiwa, like it's terrible.
No.
I am California born and raised, been here so many years, and when I leave the state, people are like, "You're from California," and I'm like, hello.
No,
Like,
I get that too. Like when I was in Korea, everybody was like, "You're from California, huh?"
yeah, no,
How
I literally
how could you
think
tell?
being bilingual is maybe one of the biggest skills you can develop before college, in college. It will really set you apart. I've started re-practicing my Spanish again because I want to stay in San Diego, and there will not be a language more helpful in San Diego than Spanish, but being bilingual really gives you a upper hand. All right, Liann, it is so awesome that you were an international business major, and yet you were still able to pursue marketing where you knew your heart lied and all that stuff. What is some experience you gained from both of them? Especially because when you do enter the workforce, your major is not super impactful and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I was so glad I didn't even switch to marketing because there were so many classes you were required to take if you were in IB that really forced you to learn about marketing from a global lens. I forget the name of it. I'm pretty sure it was just simply global marketing with Professor Olson. But we were required to learn about all these different countries, all their cultures, and how that related to marketing. And at the end of the class, you were paired with 3 or 4 other people. And at least my group ended up writing up a 60-page paper. 60-page paper on, we were given a product, a Procter & Gamble product. So we were assigned, I forget if it was just my group or the whole class, we were assigned diapers and a country to go with it. And we had to come up with a whole 360 marketing campaign project, kind of just talking about how we would market these diapers to Italians. So you kind of learn, some countries value family. So in a commercial for diapers, you'd want to show family, the mom and dad. Some countries value aesthetics and visuals. So in a commercial for a country like that, you'd want to highlight a pretty little diaper. So you learn the ups and downs of how cultures impact everything if you are looking into international marketing. And unfortunately, the company I'm at right now, we don't have a bunch of locations, barely any locations outside of the US. But my career goal would be to work in something that has to do with touching on different cultures other than our own.
That's so awesome.
But I think anything like international, global cultures is so interesting to learn about because it really kind of wakes you up and realize we're just one country and the way we think.
There is
so
a
different.
whole world out there.
No, I agree. I think once you start seeing how many more cultures there are outside of the U.S., it becomes a big shocker of how differently other people live and just.
It is literally 180, and once you start traveling, you can't stop. You're like,
no,
and
definitely.
you're like, wow, America could really step up certain things and stuff like that. Alrighty, so where you currently are at Jack in the Box, you mentioned your GBM. You would never pictured yourself doing that. I know you initially started out in hospitality before, I believe. Oh, my memory is doing me justice today. And then you said what you really admired was their marketing strategies and the company's personality and their takes. But all in all, maybe your favorite food in the day is not a Jack in the Box mini taco.
No, it never will be. I never saw myself ending up at Jack in the Box. And to be so honest, I think this is what your question is getting at. I don't see myself working in fast food long term. I love working at Jack in the Box for the phase of life I'm in now because number one, my coworkers are the best people ever. I know every single person says that when they're interviewed like this or speaking to a club like your guys's, but I genuinely think some of them are lying. But I'm telling the truth.
Definitely.
Wow. No, I think it's important though because when it comes to when you're working with someone, your coworkers make a big impact on you. And your work environment is so important.
Especially as we move back to in person. I think that's the common advice I've gotten from all these industry professionals, all these people in the corporate world. do not do your first job remote is what everyone has said. And especially not fully remote, like hybrid something, but like you have to have an in-person component or else it is just so isolating post-grad.
Yeah, and there's just things you don't think about. Like, yeah, you assume working in person is great because when you're having meetings, they're right in front of you. Or you can easily get your answers for a question you have versus waiting an hour on Teams or through email. But there's also some things you don't realize until you're actually there. Like when you're in person and you have a close bond with your coworkers, I am the same exact person I am in the office and outside of the office. I know a lot of people like to keep that wall up, but it's exhausting. If I go in the office, I don't know, 3 days a week, and I don't want to keep an act. I want my coworkers to know me for who I am. But yeah, going back to things that you don't realize, when you're right next to people in the office and you actually, you know, have a relationship with your coworkers, they can notice when you're sad and they ask you to go for a lunchtime walk around the office. They can notice when you're feeling tired and they might know some things going on in your personal life and they'll bring a coffee for you out of nowhere. And those things really add up and just give me motivation at least to keep doing my little work throughout the day. So whoever said that, most people who say that advice, I totally agree for sure. But my coworkers keep me going. That's the reason why I do see myself at Jack in the Box for a bit. But to be so honest, I don't really see myself in the whole corporate marketing world full long term. But the reason I love my job and love the idea of staying in marketing for who knows how long is I recognize all the skills I'm learning, all the concepts I'm learning that I honestly didn't even learn about in school, not through textbooks, not through anything.
Real world learning, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm learning a lot that will help me fulfill my number one goal in life, which is to open a bookstore.
Oh my God. Are you a reader?
Really?
I'm a major reader.
Are you on Goodreads?
Yes. Oh, it's in my Instagram bio.
I'm being so loud right now. Well, I never got your Instagram. But we're connecting on Goodreads and Instagram after. I love reading. I've been on the reading. Anyways, bringing it back, but I absolutely love that. Well, you'll have to come back. Well, I'll come back because when the bookstores open might be further down the line. But we'll do
you know where you want to have this location or like?
I don't know where. Japan would be cool. Maybe the second location in Tokyo.
Expansion.
That would be amazing. I don't know how feasible this is, but I feel like if there's a will, there's a way. San Diego is very much home to me. San Diego is totally where I see myself settling down.
100%. I
so
get
a
it.
little cute bookstore in San Diego.
That's
love.
Yeah.
I've fallen for the propaganda.
Yeah.
They have a really cute one in North Park. Anyways, bringing it back a little. Okay, absolutely love that. I think that is so important too, is people don't realize like you are not stuck in what you do. Like you can kind of bounce around, and I think that is the most important thing because I'm going to be honest, like I transferred here last year. I did all prerequisites, like upper division prerequisites. Thank you so much, San Diego State. Like not really sure why. But this semester, like I'm taking classes that are so meaningful to me and like related to my major, and it's so interesting. But also you learn so much more hands-on experience, which is what I'm saying with like online remote jobs. You're not going to learn as much from other people is a great way to learn. Or like in the field and stuff. Like remote classes for me just haven't worked, so.
I agree, because when you take like online classes, at least personally for me, it's just a drag. It is a complete drag because you're not in person, you're not around other people, which I think, at least for me, I think for you as well, like
100%.
Being people.
Exactly.
It helps a lot being in a classroom with other people you can actually talk to.
Yeah, you need that human connection.
Exactly.
I agree. And there's just small things too. Because I had the unfortunate experience of going through college like during COVID, pandemic student. When we came back, like when me and my friends come back, like my class or whatever came back, we could barely, at least for me, and I might just be speaking for myself, I could barely present in front of anybody. But throughout high school, I've always been a pretty okay person at presenting. But I feel like when we came back from COVID up until senior year of college, it felt like I lost those skills entirely because you get so used to just clicking a button on Zoom and people don't even see your face, they just hear your voice. And when you're in a class, I got to the point where I could barely raise my hand to ask a question. So it was insane how that, impacted social skills. But now that I work in an office, that kind of is all reversed now. I can easily speak up. Yeah, we have a lot of remote employees at Jack in the Box, so a lot of meetings, majority of meetings are virtual. But when there are in-person meetings, it's not as scary anymore.
Yeah, awesome.
But there's just things that you don't really realize you can gain until you're actually there working in person.
Hey, so you mentioned you started doing hybrid work, and hybrid work is the result of COVID pretty much because people are looking for that balance and stuff. Can you speak a little bit about hybrid work? I know like people's productivity when they're remote is a little lower, but also it helps people have a better work-life balance. So kind of just what a hybrid schedule looks like.
For sure. So yeah, I work 3 days in office, Tuesday to Thursday, and I work remotely Monday and Friday. And this is a shift Jack in the Box made only recently. When I first started, it was 2 days a week, but you got to choose any 2 days. And then for majority of my time so far, it had been Tuesday, Wednesday. And I think 2 months ago, maybe, we moved to 3 days a week. I honestly thought I was going to have trouble with it, but I love the 3 days a week. I actually get a lot done because I am in office. I can quickly ask people a question that I need an answer to. But I will say I know TikTok, social media, LinkedIn, guest speakers always say hybrid is the number one way to go. But I actually disagree, and I really think it just depends on the person. You know, I have friends that work fully remotely, and it works perfect for them. I think people forget sometimes, you know, there's people there that have, you know, just anxiety or it takes a lot. They might not have a car. It takes a lot for them to get out there. And if going in person hinders your lifestyle, no matter what you're kind of going through, the conditions of your lifestyle, then hybrid might not be the best option for you. It really just depends on the person. So I don't know. That's my hot take. I don't think it's a blanketed piece of advice.
I think that's so true. I think, different strokes for different folks, of course.
Yeah.
But I think that's really important.
Yeah, I do recommend, though, if there isn't, you know, anything out of the blue hindering someone from going into a hybrid situation or fully in person. I will say I'm against fully in person. I don't know if I have the energy for that. So I will be avoiding that for the rest of my life until I have my own business.
Which will be fully in person.
Yes, which will be fully in person. But then it's like when you're own boss, you're down to show up 5 days a week, even 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But I do agree that if there isn't anything hindering you, going hybrid is the best combination. You kind of get best of both worlds. One, all of the classic pieces of advice of you learn these social skills. You get in-person interaction with your boss, with higher level leadership, and that gives them visibility into seeing how you're performing, the projects you're doing. They just get a better view of everything you're working on.
Yeah.
But there's also, again, other things you don't really think about. Like a lot of offices do catered lunch all the time. A lot of offices have clients come in or vendors, partners come in, and there's all this social interaction. And for me, it makes a day go by so fast and kind of makes the 9-to-5 life a little less mundane.
Yeah.
So outside of everything you can gain when it comes to technical skills, there's also things that just keep you going. Like I showed up in the office today. It was my coworker's birthday. There were 2 boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts.
Wow.
Kept me going for the morning.
Yeah, a little motivation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did I eat
Get the
2
sugar
in 2
in.
hours? Yes. Stuff like that.
Can you walk us through what a hybrid, or like not a hybrid? Yeah, like, so some days, Monday, Friday, like when it's remote, are you just like answering emails kind of here and there? What does that kind of look like versus like an in-person day?
Yeah, I pretty much have the same day regardless of whether I'm in office or not. A lot of my job requires me looking at creative assets. I'm not directly designing anything. We have internal designers, we have designers at agencies that design things for us, but probably 80% of my job, I'm just looking at creative, giving direction on how to tweak creative. And when I say creative, it could mean anything from POP materials, which means point of purchase materials, basically the posters you see at a Jack in the Box, or social media assets, those Facebook ads you see that your mom probably likes like accidentally. Influencer assets. I work with a bunch of influencers, which is pretty cool. So I'm really diving deep, making sure if we're communicating, promoting a product, making sure the asset is communicating, messaging everything we need. Our logo is on there so people know we're not Taco Bell. The colors are right, things like that. So I'm pretty much doing that Monday to Friday, no matter what. But I have gotten smart about saving certain tasks for in-person days because I know they would require less energy. So for example, if there is a specific piece of creative that has a lot of weight on it, whether it's a product that is going out to more markets versus one market, because I lead a lot of regional campaigns at Jack in the Box, and some things are just seen by more customers than others. Hence, they would need more approval, not just by, another coworker, a boss, but even sometimes I need to get approval as high up to our CMO. So those days, it's just so much easier to call them over to your desk, pivot your laptop really quick, get some feedback, get some approval, versus sending an email. And the higher you get in the corporate hierarchy, the busier you are, and waiting on that response. So my tasks aren't limited in terms of I need to do these in person, I need to do these remote. But I've gotten really good at seeing the tasks I have in front of me and knowing when I can save my energy by just pivoting and bringing a task to an in-person day. But I think a lot of people are like that once you get used to the hybrid life. And a lot of my friends do the same thing as well. Because to be so honest, my entire job I can do on my laptop. I can. I don't really need the office. But it is nice,
like a nice
because
little perk.
exactly it is nice that when I go in the office, things just speed up a little bit more.
No, for sure. I feel like I personally would be more productive because I have really bad ADHD in person, but that's just kind of how
it
I'm
helps
operating.
like that body doubling with other people.
And then last thing to kind of round out the hybrid office talk, and then I'll hand it over to Steph and we'll ask you about some skills and stuff like that. So recently the 9 to 5 has become the 8 to 5. I'm not sure if that's what you were working in, Steph, but in addition to asking your thoughts on the 8 to 5, I also wanted to ask, we talked about how after college you have more time for hobbies and all that stuff. Do you feel like that is like the case and stuff? Because I know for some people, like, instead of having class from 10 to 2 and then like a part-time job, their world becomes like 8 to 5 and then they're drained after and then it's just like living for the weekend or kind of like... How did that like transition into adulthood?
So I, of course, am speaking for myself. I
and the
personally, I personally have a lot of more time on my hands compared to college. And this connects back to the first portion of your question. When you're applying for jobs, for an internship, even if you're not about to graduate, I always tell people to think about your priorities in life outside of your career. I know you might want to work at that Big Four accounting firm, but it's 50 minutes away. I know you might want to work at that top dog marketing agency, but it requires you to work on weekends. I know sometimes when you're in college and you're going through these LinkedIn posts, you're so wrapped up in this. I want to work at a company that has recognition. Has name recognition. People would recognize this when I tell them I work at Jack in the Box. But post-grad, I'm now realizing when you look at your priorities outside of work, are you someone who needs to work out every day? Are you someone who needs at least 2 hours of bed rot time after work? Don't forget about those things because I think you do owe it to yourself to consider those things when you're applying for jobs.
Yeah, make it sustainable for sure.
Exactly, because you don't know how long you'll be there. Our generation does job hop a little bit more, so probably not forever. But every day does matter. So I just feel like some people fall into the trap of, even if I have to drive 2 hours total every day, I'm working for this Big Four accounting firm, so it's fine. If you're that type of person, kudos to you. But I knew, my commute time mattered, whether I could still have time for the gym and hang out with friends and make dinner after every weekday does matter. So I had those priorities in my head when I applied to Jack in the Box. My commute is only 7 minutes. I don't even get on the freeway.
Wow.
No traffic at all.
Awesome.
Amazing.
That is such an important. This is so important. This is what I feel like a lot of people our age, especially seniors and stuff, when they're applying for stuff, are not taking into consideration at all. Like, okay, I'll just sacrifice my entire life. And it's like, your mental health is very important, especially making sure you can sustain a healthy mental health and keep going and stuff like that. I think that is so important. I think that's a really good thing that you brought relate to. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
I wish someone told that to me.
I feel like that I'm realizing that now when you're saying that, a lot of people probably needed to hear that. Because nowadays I feel like I talk to a lot of people, a lot of my friends, and it's like, apply. Get any job that you possibly can. Because right now it's so hard, and it's just really hard. Something that's paid. Anything that's paid. I'm willing to drop whatever it is just to get this job, just to attend to the job. You know? So I feel like it's important to keep those priorities in mind, not to give up. Yeah. Oh, I like to make dinner after this. Like,
yes, it's a balance.
Okay, yeah, it definitely is a balance.
And I totally get it. This job market, awful.
It's so bad.
Probably worse than when I graduated, and I was already crying every day about it. So it's like, you know, but then you can kind of compromise with yourself. Like, okay, I do not have a job right now. I need a job right now, especially if I want to stay in the most expensive city in the country. Get that first job and just recognize you don't have to stay there forever. Go find your next job 3 months out even.
Or like, you know, people just have like a vision, and it's like, that is not what it's going to look like. Like, you could be doing a part-time job, but you could also be doing a remote marketing internship, which leads you to working with a client, which leads you to getting hired, something else. Like, as long as you're moving in the right direction, that's what's most important. But it's not about where you start, it's about where you end up.
Exactly.
Yes, I totally agree. But yeah, the priorities thing, I feel like a lot of people who are struggling post-grad, you know, I know everyone has their own problems, issues. Everyone's life is hard. But if you can kind of really choose a job for you, choose a role with you that works with your life outside of work, I guarantee, especially post-grad in your early, mid-20s, life becomes so much easier. Also coupled with you want to work with cool people so that you're not annoyed for hours on end after you leave the office.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things I just wish I was told to consider versus, you know, just what's on paper when you're applying to jobs.
Absolutely. So bringing it back right now, we're learning about, in my sales class, the importance of work-life balance and stuff, and how for sales jobs, which is not my major, but I am learning a lot in my sales class about like AI and stuff like that. And there's this like one guy who did like a 60-hour work week, and I'm like, no. So keep that in mind. But every time I talk to you, Liann, like, I gain so much wisdom. Aww. My third eye literally opens, and I think about something I've never thought before. And so, yeah, I just really appreciate it. And then I'm going to pass it on to Steph, because she had some questions about your skills.
Yes. Yeah. Just to agree on with Aiden real quick, I definitely agree that third eye is definitely opening up right now. Yeah, so I can see how much, like, how caring you are and how... just aware.
You're gonna make me cry on this podcast.
No, but it's so true. Like outside of this podcast, I would definitely love you as like a friend to have for like anything I would need.
She's so sweet. No. I literally ran into her at Ulta, like, what?
No,
we're gonna follow each other on Instagram after
because
this.
I'm like, man, I'm like, and just even when it comes to personal life, I think you would be the perfect person to talk to. Yeah. If I was crying about something,
you should be like an HR hiring too, or like wear like some different hats. Clickbait, we made our guests cry, like.
Yeah. Anyways, just to bring it back, I wanted to talk about a little bit more about. You mentioned you were learning a lot of skills in your job, and then I also know that you were like the international business major. How did you incorporate that into your job and also these skills that you're learning now into your goals?
Yeah,
your goals.
Like what were some of those skills you learned?
Yeah, the skills that you learned for your future goals.
Yeah, and future goal, going back to the bookstore.
Bookstore.
Right? Okay, bookstore.
Well, we'll promote that too after,
so
later on.
And it all goes back to, you know, fast food isn't my favorite thing in the world, but I do like my time. I do like being at Jack in the Box because I'm already recognizing, as you said, like these skills are going to lead into how I perform in the future and having a successful business. But specifically, there's so many skills I could talk about, but as it relates to marketing and my day-to-day task at Jack in the Box, it's all the things I really am excited to utilize when I open that bookstore one day. Social media, influencer marketing, all of that stuff. A lot of things digital, a lot of things social. You know, we're already in a day and age where influencers have so much say,
so much pull.
So much power.
So much power.
So I am still a little mad that they have so much money, but there's a reason behind it.
Jealousy.
Jealousy. I'm admitting to my jealousy on this podcast.
It's okay.
Get real.
It's okay. Yeah.
So, you know, and there's Barnes & Noble, there's Amazon, there are these top dog competitors, bookstores, But there's also these independent bookstores, even in San Diego, that succeed and are doing well because they tap into social media. They're consistently posting. So I'm already picking up on how social media works, how influencer marketing works in this day and age. I'm sure it's going to be even more powerful by the time I'm middle-aged, ready to do something like that. So Jack in the Box gives me very much hands-on experience with social media, influencers in particular. We have a dedicated social media team that creates the social media organic assets for us. But I've learned so much behind the scenes in terms of, setting up a paid ad campaign on specific platforms on social media. Influencers, when you see an influencer TikTok ad, a brand isn't just telling them to go do whatever they want. Behind the scenes, they're most likely writing up a document or creating a presentation with all these bullet points saying, this is how many seconds you should be showing the product for. Please do not wear any other apparel logo brands, because especially if they're promoting their own apparel, if that brand is an apparel brand, and stuff like, please don't use harsh lighting. Please make sure there are no children in the video if you're promoting a caffeinated product, because it's not encouraged for children to drink caffeine.
Wow, wait,
So there's all these things you just don't think about. When you scroll on TikTok, you think this influencer was just gifted this blush from Ulta and told to just create a 30-second video. But no, it's usually if there's money backing it, and if that brand actually is paying and contracting that influencer to do this, then there is a whole world of they're providing direction, strategy that the influencer has to follow in order to fulfill that agreement, if you will. So I'm learning so much of that because I do that for influencers. And I would have had no idea. I really did think, you send a Jack in the Box burger to a mukbang influencer and you just tell them to eat and call it a day.
No, it's a little more.
It's a little bit more specific, intricate than that. So I'm getting all these hands-on skills that, one, I would have never known about unless I was in a role like this. And that's how I know I can take this on to either another role or ultimately, of course, opening a bookstore one day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out real quick, just to make sure that like this dream of yours will happen. And
stop.
That's so sweet.
No, and the other day I went to this store and it was owned by a veteran and his family was there. He wasn't there, unfortunately. I didn't get to meet him, but his family was there supporting him, telling us all about it. And that kind of made me reflect on how it might be for you. Because I know you talked about Amazon and like Barnes & Nobles, all these like upper hand stores that have on bookstores, obviously. But when it comes down to like the underdog, like a lot of people root for the underdog.
They can come on top.
Yes, exactly.
Win.
And they can come on top. And realizing like this man's store and how much his family is supporting him, I know how much support you'll have like for this dream.
That is so sweet. Steph, you're so sweet.
No, I truly do. Like, I believe in people so much. And like the way I see your personality, your vibe, your aura, everything right now, everything is just shining on. Like, I'm going to see one day in the future Liann's bookstores.
Thank you. That genuinely means so much. You will like be in my dreams tonight.
I truly do believe in you, and
thank you.
I one day do want to go.
And I think also like we as a society are starting to like lean more towards like smaller businesses and community and stuff like
is
that.
So
like,
important.
Like, because we see more and more like established monopolies. Like Amazon has been able to establish a monopoly. Ticketmaster is now establishing a monopoly, and Ticketmaster is maybe my number one op in life. Like, I'm sorry, you really try me. Like, but yeah, we like, but we start like learning more about like community and stuff. Like in my marketing or consumer behavior class, we just learned like how can a small business come out on top against a Walmart, and it's by offering individualized services and things that they don't offer. Like there are ways to compete against even these bigger corporations. It's really the service aspect.
I agree.
I agree as
That's
well.
actually why I want to open my bookstore. At the end of the day, I love books. My nose is always buried in a book. But exactly what you said, really the only way that differentiates these smaller independent businesses and a reason they can be successful is that community aspect. But I've always had this idea of if I open up a bookstore, it's going to serve some deeper purpose. So for the past few years, I've had this idea like, okay, bookstore, gonna sell all the cute little books, romance books, mystery, all of that, even those self-help books that I despise. But eventually I want a bookstore that serves as almost like a center for kids to go to after their school day is over. Because a lot of kids, I also fall under this category, aren't the most excited to go back home. They actually liked school more. They like going to classes more than being at home. So I've always thought, if I open up a bookstore one day, it's going to have this under layered per kind of mission. And that's why I want a little bookstore. I want all these tables, chairs, hire some part-time tutors so they can do their homework. Wow. And then if they do, say they come like 10 times. You have a little punch card. Say they come 10 times. This is such a random idea.
Strategy?
Yeah, strategy.
Dream of some winning lottery numbers because I'm ready.
I think about it that I can envision it how it might be because what I'm hearing is you really want to take into consideration these kids. I can see it like your brand being as more... I'm seeing you as like a mom, like a caretaker.
That's so sweet.
I like see that, especially like your character. It's so just I feel taken care of right now. Like I feel like I'd be taken care of very well.
Just the gassing up
I'll take
Liann
care
moment.
of you whenever.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. You guys are invited to the soft
Thank
opening.
you. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
There's like a really cute one in North Park too, and they have like it's like very like dark inside, like the wood or whatever.
Is it verbatim?
I think so. It's
It
across
has
the
that
street
wall.
from the matcha place. Yes.
That wall that's crazy and it's kind of like spelled out with
I
books
think it's
verbatim.
very, like, unique and fun.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, so we're all so excited for the bookstore. Do you have any branding, logo, marketing ideas, like things you've learned on like as a marketing professional that you're gonna take into this job?
I love this question. It just feels like real. Like I just need to do the work to make it happen.
No, you
Exactly.
will.
No, we're like really visualizing it, manifesting it.
I have so much faith in you.
Oh, you guys will be on the PR list.
Okay, period. I'm set.
No questions asked.
Period.
I don't have a logo or anything like that. I also financially, I am nowhere near that stage.
No worries.
But I have picked up on ideas or I've came up with ideas of things I really want to do. And I don't think I would have came up with these ideas if it weren't for my role, learning what I've learned through being in a marketing role. But some ideas, for example, a lot of brands are succeeding nowadays because they tap into the concept of personalization, customization, whatever you call it. One of the earliest examples, Nike with their little sneakers, you could customize it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's been going on for a long time. A lot of fast food brands, I don't think Jack does this yet, but some brands who have, pretty advanced technology in their apps will do things where if you take a quiz, they'll give you a recommendation for which meal you should eat today, which burger would fit your personality.
Oh, I see.
So just that idea of consumers love to feel special.
Customization, yeah.
Customization.
Exactly.
They love when things are personalized to them. That's why you see all these subscription boxes.
Yeah.
I feel like I see like Etsy Witch subscription boxes. I see Book of the Month is a book
special.
one.
Yeah.
All these subscription boxes, whether it's like a beverage, food, gym stuff. There's a box out there for every single type of industry nowadays. And it's because we've gotten to a point where brands are recognizing this is how we get the consumer. We have to make them feel special and we need to figure out how to do that. So I've learned that a lot through just being in a marketing role because people aren't going to buy something. They won't see themselves using something. Maybe they naturally might come to that point. You go to H&M, you see what do you call those? Mannequins. Mannequins. I was going to say model, like a real life person. You see a mannequin wearing a skirt and you might visualize yourself wearing that skirt too. Like sometimes it happens as naturally as that. But in this day and age, with so many brands competing against each other, so many products to choose from, the personalization aspect just kind of levels up your product, your brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I've learned that, and I would love to take that concept, blow it up for this bookstore that I'd love to open up one day. An example could be, if you buy 5 books, we can partner with the florist down the street and you get a free bouquet made with the color scheme of one of those books.
Oh
I
my
love that.
gosh,
Something
I
like
love
that.
love that idea.
Yeah.
Oh my
That
gosh,
is
wait, you
so
should open it in La
amazing.
Jolla. That would be,
La Jolla
that'd
would
be
be
a
a
really
dream
good, that'd be a
location.
really
One
good spot,
day.
especially the demographic.
One day. I will have to win the lottery first
Yes,
if we're
no,
aiming for
but
La
like,
Jolla.
we're manifesting winning
Yes.
numbers
Yo,
too.
you will. You will.
Yes.
777.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Liann, for all those insights and advice that you gave us today. I just want to wrap it up and ask you if you have one thing or just one piece of advice you'd like to say to our seniors graduating. I know you talked about doing post-grad after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much I can think of. I guess the number one thing is I feel like every professor, every leader says this. It's so cheesy, but the importance of taking initiative, not just at work though, just in your own life. So the first part of it at work, especially going into marketing, you know, marketing is so fun because ideas matter more. Because every great marketing campaign, every great celebrity partnership is born through an idea that's out of the box enough.
Yeah.
But for that to kind of come into fruition, someone had to have the guts to say it. And sometimes it's the 22-year-old marketing coordinator that has that idea. And if that person never had the guts to say something, maybe that one viral campaign never would have happened. But taking initiative is scary sometimes, especially when you're in your first marketing role or any role for that matter post-grad, because whether you're, you know, in an in-person meeting, you have these like 50-year-old moms and dads you're kind of talking with. It feels scary because these people have like 40 years of experience compared to you.
Yeah.
But just really telling yourself the worst thing that can happen is they say no. Is kind of the motto I live by. And also, yeah, it is important to find a workplace that welcomes your ideas and doesn't shoot you down immediately, because having a sense of belonging like that is unmatched. But also, the other part of that is outside of work, taking initiative. You know, if you are, maybe you love your job, but you want to get into a new hobby, you want to start a new project because you feel like your life is lacking in some way, go do it.
Yeah.
Stop scrolling on TikTok and learning about how to do it and just start and do
Create
it.
those opportunities for yourself and take advantage of your resources.
Exactly. I feel like a very common phenomenon right now is I want to be an influencer.
Yes.
I do too. But
We all.
I feel like a lot of people will watch other influencers talk about how to be an influencer, but will not start. Type of thing.
The initiative.
Yeah. No, I do the same
The
thing.
get ready
though.
with me I have sitting in my drafts that I'm like too lazy to edit. Like, girl, just post.
I do the same thing. So it's kind of like, okay, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're making empty promises to yourself. That was kind of harsh. I don't know how I said it like that.
That's so real. That's
No, it's so
real.
real. Like, I do the same thing. I see posts on Instagram of how I want to do things, what I want to learn. And I just send it to myself and I never look back.
Yeah.
I never look back.
I do the same thing with recipes.
With
recipes.
recipes.
Real.
I send myself a little chicken noodle recipe and never make it.
Right.
Post those drafts, follow your dreams. Thank you so much, Miss Liann So, for coming on.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys at our next episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.